Greetings and salutations, friends and gamers of all stripes. My name is GM Dave. I am your man behind the screen. And today I wanted to just do a quick, simple little video going over a couple of other YouTube channels that I feel would be worth your time subscribing to. These are all channels that I've planned to showcase for a little while now. Some of them are pretty large, some of them not so much. Um, all of them are currently larger than mine, but that makes no difference. They're worth taking a look at, and so I want to talk briefly about each of them. And we're going to be starting with Fantasy Optic. Now, Fantasy Optic, for those of you who follow me on Facebook and Minds, you might have noticed that earlier today I actually shared their most recent video, the dual Gladius Boffer video, getting them a little bit more views. This channel is actually run by a couple of friends of mine, a couple brothers that I've known for good, 12, 13 years now. Actually, longer than that, possibly closer to 15 years now. Very good friends of mine, and their videos largely focus on cosplay, cosplay photography, boffer, and LARPing. For those of you who don't know what boffer is, boffer are the foam and PVC weapons that you will sometimes see people who are engaged in LARP use so that they don't accidentally crack each other's skulls when they're LARP fighting. So generally speaking, that's what the channel focuses mostly on, taking a look at that, and then occasionally taking a look at card games like Magic the Gathering, the new Final Fantasy trading card game, so on and so forth. There's a few other varied videos deep in the history of the channel. The channel actually has a pretty storied history, despite the fact that it's not very old. It has gone through, I believe, 4 different iterations before it finally hit the point that it's at now, where it's Fantasy Optic, and my friends figured out exactly what they wanted the channel to really be about. Before then, there was a lot of experimentation, a lot of going through different types of things. At a certain point, it was even a channel about bicycling and taking videos while biking through the countryside that they live in. So there's a lot of interesting stuff you can find on this channel, but now its tone is set, its identity has been realized. If you want to know a little bit more about tabletop games in the way of card games, but mostly if you want to know about LARPing, if you want to know about simulated combat using boffer, if you want to know about cosplay and cosplay photography, Fantasy Optic is a channel for you to definitely take a look at. Next up, we're moving on to Pro Jarrod's gaming channel. Now, you may well know who Pro Jarrod is already. The guy's already got 1 million subscribers to his main channel, and we're also taking a look at his secondary Let's Play channel, Pro Jarrod Plays, which he posts to actually considerably more regularly. Now, obviously, as you can see here, Pro Jarrod is not strictly a tabletop gaming channel. However, he is still a tabletop gaming YouTuber. This is because every December he has a special event he runs called D&D December, where he recounts stories from his years playing D&D, gives his own tips and advice, and it's a little more free-form, a little more loose-flowing, but generally it's good stuff and very entertaining. Last year for D&D December, he actually teamed up with the Game Grumps to run an 8-session mini-campaign. I don't know if he's going to be continuing that this year, but I certainly hope he does. If you want to take a look at that, you can head over to the Game Grumps YouTube channel and look up. They should have a playlist for it called Dragons in Places. It's a lot of fun, and it was pretty damn funny. I found it very entertaining, and it was interesting to actually see a game that Jarrod GMs as opposed to just hearing him talk about his experiences with GMing. So absolutely give a look at Pro Jarrod and his Pro Jarrod Plays channel. I think both of them are definitely worthwhile. It's fun stuff, great way to pass the time. Moving on, we're going to go to what, in my opinion, is one of the absolute best tabletop gaming channels around, and that is Taking 20. Now, Cody, who runs Taking 20, is, in my opinion, one of the most charismatic YouTubers you'll ever find. The way he handles himself, the way he approaches these different topics, just his general attitude and behavior is friendly, is amicable, the man is knowledgeable, he's creative, And just generally speaking, you get a sense of this just being a very real thing for him. You can feel the love he has for this hobby in his channel. And it's great for not only getting different ideas on how to utilize different monsters, different ideas on how to utilize, like here, like how to deal with one of his most recent videos, magical items that might otherwise break your games, taking a look at other games other than D&D, like recently how he has how to play videos for Warhammer 40,000 Wrath of Glory. He was in a preview session with one of the game's lead creators a few weeks ago, along with one of the other people that I'm actually going to be showcasing. Actually, the next person I'm going to be showcasing on this channel. But generally speaking, lots of real good information, lots of real interesting information, and just generally speaking, if you're into tabletop gaming, Cody's channel is very fun, very entertaining, and still a good bit informative as well. Well worth your time. Definitely subscribe to Taking 20. And then moving on to that next one, we have How to Be a Great Game Master with Guy. Guy is just fantastic. I only discovered his channel fairly recently. A lot of these other people, I've been following them for quite some time, but I think I only discovered Guy within the last 8 months or so. So just shortly before I started my own YouTube channel. And, you know, I pretty much, as little as I can avoid it, I try not to miss a video of his, if I can. I've missed a few here and there, but if I can avoid it, I try to catch every video he releases, because this man, if you're into the role play side of tabletop RPGs, if you really love that part, then it is absolutely worth your time to take a look at Guy's channel, How to Be a Great Game Master, because it's not just about how to be a great game master. That's how it started. But as you can see, he's got 3 main shows: How to Be a Great Game Master, How to Be a Great Player, and For Your Consideration, which is kind of more of a potpourri sort of general thoughts on different aspects kind of show. Furthermore, he's got a few other interesting pieces of content, including a playthrough of a lit RPG right here, The Fabled Lands, which is a basically single-person, choose-your-own-adventure style book series. However, it's a book series that has been designed as basically a one-player read-along RPG. It's pretty interesting. Episodes, as you can see, are kind of long, so I have fallen a bit behind on that. Actually, you can see I've missed a few of his videos recently, just due to how busy I've been. I've got to get caught up on that. But Guy's work is absolutely fantastic. I strongly recommend, if you're a person who loves role-playing, you should absolutely subscribe to How to Be a Great Game Master. Moving on from that, we have the man who was the subject of my first interview on this channel, Hark's channel, Angel Arts. Now, Angel Arts is not, again, it's not strictly tabletop role-playing, although he does run a multitude of tabletop RPG campaigns. Currently, he is running the second Mass Effect tabletop RPG campaign that he's ever run, and it's a direct sequel to his first one. He likes to keep continuity within those games. He's also run ones for Dragon Age and, I believe, the Pokemon tabletop role-playing game. I have not watched those. In fact, I do have quite a lot of his stuff that I need to go back and watch, because it is a lot of long-form content. But if you're into story-based content, if you're into content where you want a Let's Player who's not just trying to be like in your face and silly, but a little bit more thought-provoking, I would highly recommend taking a look at Angel Arts. Give his content a try. See if it's something you enjoy. Personally, I find it to be pretty riveting for the most part. The biggest downside to his channel, I would say, is the fact that since he does a lot of long-form content, a lot of the stuff that he's doing currently is quite a few episodes in. As you can see here, his Let's Play Borderlands 2 blind Let's Play. He's on part 55. He's been co-oping Divinity Original Sin 2 with Dawn Forgecast and a few of his friends as well, and they're on part 98 of that. So it's long-form content. It goes back kind of deep, so it can be a little hard to just kind of jump in and start. But I highly recommend it if you find a game that you like, or if you think that you would like watching one of his tabletop campaigns. I strongly recommend it. It's very entertaining, he's very charismatic, and he has a great sense for story. Moving on from there, we have the channel that really actually inspired me to start my channel. And I know I've got a couple of viewers here who are going to take issue with that fact. Tough shit. Forgecast. I discovered Forgecast years ago. Almost 5 years ago, in fact. I discovered him. Now, I know that there's apparently some big controversy that went on with his channel in its younger days. I don't know the details of it. I looked into it a bit. I'm still not entirely sure what the details were, but apparently there was some big thing that happened. I don't know about it. I came in and started viewing his stuff sometime after all that happened. All I know is that when I came in and started viewing his stuff, and ever since I've been viewing his stuff, I have found that his work, his content has not only been pretty entertaining for the most part, but largely it can be pretty damn helpful too. He has some interesting ideas, some interesting tips, suggestions, things like that. Again, all based on that core idea of if you like to roleplay, that's how this channel's advice is going to be the most helpful for you. It also has interesting things like sort of ridiculous over-the-top character builds, ways to build a character in 5e that are admittedly ridiculous, admittedly probably won't actually work well, but can achieve something really crazy that a lot of 5e's detractors who look at the system might think, oh, well, there's no way you could really do something like that. So, Forgecast, again, I do think it's a pretty damn good channel. Controversy aside, you know, from what little I know about it, I mean, whatever it was, it happened over like 5 years ago. You know, I haven't seen any behavior from him that showcases any reason for me to, you know, hold some grudge about something that I had no involvement in and don't even know about. All I've seen from him is pretty damn good, entertaining content, and you know, if I'm being honest, I like the work he does, and so I'm going to plug him because I feel that he deserves it. He works hard on his videos, he works hard on his games, and I think he is worth your time checking out. Lastly, we have a channel that is absolutely not tabletop gaming related at all. But if you're a GM and you want some ideas on how to build a fiction, build a story, build lore for your world, I strongly recommend you start taking a look at Foundry. These guys have a knack for understanding the way stories work in our day-to-day life, how legends work, how all sorts of different things, from how to determine whether or not something qualifies as a myth, if it's a legend, if it's a tall tale, things like that, looking into different types of folklore. As you can see here, they've got videos, a series on Slavic folklore, a series on H.P. Lovecraft and the Lovecraft mythos, science fiction, so on and so forth. They've got a wide variety of different videos covering different types of folklore, different types of myth, both historical and fictional, so on and so forth. It really is fantastic, not only for getting an idea of how you can construct your myths and legends in your games, but also just grabbing story ideas that you might not have thought of. They look to the myths of different cultures, different histories, different religions, so on and so forth. It's really fantastic for getting a great idea if you're falling short and you want to spark some creativity in your games, some creativity in yourself or any games you're working at. Foundry is a fantastic source for that. And it looks like they've actually, they've recently started a world building series. I got to check that out myself. Well, that's about it for today, friends and gamers of all stripes. Like I said, these are just a few channels that I wanted to showcase. I am going to link them down in the descriptions below. Once again, those channels are Fantasy Optic, Pro Jarrod, and by extension his Let's Play channel, Pro Jarrod Plays, Taking 20, How to Be a Great Game Master, Angel Arts, Dawn Forgecast, and Tail Foundry. I think all of these channels are worth your time if you're interested in becoming a GM or a player, or interested in just sort of expanding your balance within this hobby or different aspects of the tabletop role-playing or even just general role-playing hobby. These are all worth taking your time and taking a look at. So as usual, friends and gamers, if you liked the video, please feel free to leave it a like. If you have comments, anything to say, any other channels you'd like to suggest to me to check out, let me know in the comments below what your thoughts on this are. If you like my content and would like to see more, please consider subscribing and hitting that bell notification icon. I also highly recommend following me on social media. Links in the description below for the most regular updates possible. You can find me on 4 locations down there. I would also recommend that you check out and subscribe to my BitChute page. YouTube, as of late, is not the most reliable place in the world, and I will be posting some exclusive content over to BitChute due largely to the fact that there are some things that I do want to talk about that relate to the hobby that just plain aren't YouTube safe, but BitChute will allow them. One example of that was my discussion on the tone of your games and the importance of that by comparing that to the tonal shifts and the jarring collapse, really, of quality in the anime Darling in the Franxx. Within a day, it got hit with a copyright strike and taken down from YouTube. BitChute has allowed me to post it without any problems. Last of all, I do have a Patreon page. If you are interested in supporting my work here and you like what I do and would like to support me financially, you can hop on over to Patreon. Every little bit, even as small as $1, is appreciated from the bottom of my heart. With all of that now said and done, friends and gamers of all stripes, as usual, it is my sincere hope that you roll high, roleplay well, and game on.